Hello, brothers and sisters. As we all know, this is the Super Soul Warrior Dwan. Dude, I guess August is my month because I am super inspired right now. The topic I want to go ahead and talk about tonight is basically it's two simple phrases, I guess, right? The mode of survival and living fully, or mode of the living, or I like to say living fully better because it just feels better. What do I mean by that? Um, in one of my counseling sessions, or therapy sessions or whatever, right? When I was in Hawaii, I had a therapist say, I expressed some things within my life that I had dealt with, from growing up to that point, to this point or whatever. And this therapist said that basically I'm been living in a mode of survival instead of like fully living. And I didn't understand that at first, but I get it now. A mode of survival, how I understand it, is a person who does whatever he or she feels is necessary in order to get through the day, or in order to, be in good graces with people or whatever else. The bottom line is that you're preserved, and that you're not looked upon in a real sour way or whatever else. I'll give an example, or just go along with a story, I guess. It mainly is like the neighborhood I grew up in. It was full of different characters, different people, and it's crazy. Like it kind of reminds me of the army to an extent, right? In the army, they always tell you, look confident, you know, say things with confidence, even if you're not sure, you just say it, and you keep the confidence of your troops, or whoever that is over you, or that you're leading at that point in time. And then when I hear that, to me, it's telling me that I have to lie, because sometimes the stuff is not as good as it seems. And you got to go ahead and tell these people in order to keep them calm, in order to move forward. And I think in a certain way I understand that in a wartime situation. Never been, but at the same time, I guess I understand that, because you don't want your troops to be freaking out when stuff is about to go awry, if you can motivate them to do bigger and better things. But in garrison, I must say, is that it's more of you lose, your troops lose confidence in you when that happens. And so I told it back to, in my neighborhood, if you were perceived as somebody who wasn't cool or whatever else, you had to pretend to be it. And you pretend so long until people bought it. I remember it was a thing that Dr. Phil said some years ago. He was like saying that when people do certain things, such as wrong things, there's a reward in it. And then at first I was thinking, how is there a reward in it, especially if it's, ruined their lives, or, took it in a direction that they didn't expect it to go. Well, basically it's like this. If I tell you a lie, you know what I mean, whether it's about me or whatever else, or I'm trying to get one over on you, and then I get away with it, the reward is I got away with it. And basically, once you get away with that one time, is almost like a gambling addiction. You just keep trying to do it over and over again. And if you do it so many times, it's so cemented into your workings as a human being that it becomes a part of you. You know what I mean? So when you're lying to these people or whatever else, or getting over on people, or putting up a facade that people believe, um, it hurts you in the long run. But the reward is that you're getting away with it, and people are believing the hype and all this other stuff. The downside to it is you're lying to yourself more than anything, and then you begin not to trust yourself, and then that's when stuff starts to unravel. You have to. I think sometimes we as people sabotage ourselves because of the lies that we've already told ourselves on a regular basis. And even our inner self won't even believe us when we're trying to go ahead and encourage it and take it toward the truth of something, of an idea that you already have cemented in your head, or cemented in your heart. Um, that's the real craziness of it. If you're That's the mode of survival. But if you're living in the land of the living, you have no real fear of being who you are and doing what you do. You have confidence in your skill and in who you are as a person. You can admit when you're wrong, and when you're right, you don't rub it in people's faces. I mean, and this is just my makeup of it. It's one of the most confident people that you know in life. And I'm talking about real confidence, that they don't have to brag to everybody and their mama to tell you that they're this, that, and the other. You just know it. And I think that's why it's far more important for people to know within themselves why they're good at why they're a good person, or valuable. It was just like in a couple of other recordings I have talked about, when I talked about the time I got a PT patch for the very first time. And what it was is that it felt wonderful to be able to reach such a level within a thing. And I know some people don't think it's a big deal or whatever else, but personally it was, because I think I was so in need of something to help boost my self-esteem. But the downside to all of that, even though I did all the training and everything to get in shape and be the best that I could be, the downfall to all of that, and this is a big thing that Bill Phillips had mentioned in this thing called Body for Life. I didn't pay attention to it for the longest time, but I understand it now. The big deal of it is you have to change your mind too. You have to work on your mindset. If your mindset is crap and you have all of these particular resources or advantages, it's going to be for naught. It's almost like a person winning the lottery, right? And when you have this vast amount of money, you have to maintain that in a way if you want to keep it. But if you're going with the same old patterns that you've had for many years at a time, that money is going to be gone, probably within a year or within a couple of years, but it's going to be gone. And that's the downfall to a lot of us. We have things, we don't maintain them, and then we wonder what happened. And that's what it is. We have to have a good, hard, long look at ourselves of pure honesty to really see who we are as people. And then walk in that. You know what I mean? Walk in that. Not who other people want you to be. Not who your children want you to be, who your wife or husband want you to be, who others from your mom, your dad, whatever. You can't roll with what they want you to be, because the bottom line, at the end of the day, you're going to die, only you. And it's not pertaining to, since you have all these people with you, that they're going to die too right along with you. You're going to be basically understood and mold, judge, whatever, on the acts that you committed on this earth, strictly on what you've done. It's not a group effort at that point. It's about you. Now, I'm not saying that you should be like one of these selfish people that go around and think of nobody but themselves completely. What I'm saying is, in order to go ahead and be the authentic you should be the authentic you for yourself. Because when you're that, then I'm now believing that you're going to attract people and opportunities that's supposed to be yours. I did not understand that for the longest time, but I understand it now. By me talking to you guys, I understand things like this more and more. It helps me to understand what wrong turns I took in my life, what things I need to do in the present, and and the future will go ahead and take care of itself. But we have to remember that we can't live in survival mode. We can't live in lies. We can't live in a way of lying to people, and then because ultimately you're lying to yourself and believing that everything is going to be okay or whatever just because it worked out the last time. You know what I mean? We can't live off of that. That's not real consistency. That's kind of like allowing life to dictate what you're going to do and be, and not you going forward and trying, working toward a particular way that you want to be, or to a way of life that you want. So I think that's the main thing. We just really have to get off of this train of people pleasing and being other than our authentic selves, because that's when the true reward comes, and whoever is involved with you, they get a great reward for that, because they're seeing you for who you really are, instead of like Sly and the Family Stone said, I love you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. And when you can go ahead and not pretend to people and be yourself authentically, it works out for everyone involved. So that's basically what I had for tonight. If there's any more than likely I'm going to say it again, say something else tonight. But this is the Super Soul Warrior Dwan, and I'm out.